Hello and welcome to Tween Project this month Beeswax candles. As always, we start off with what you have been provided in your kits. First, we have our 1 pound of beeswax pellets. Then we have our half a cup of coconut oil. It's totally fine that it looks like that. Sometimes if your house is very warm, it might be a little bit more on the liquidy side. That is also perfectly fine. Coconut oil has a super low melting point. It honestly melts right onto your hand. So if it's a little bit more liquidy and a little less white chunky looking, that's fine. We also have our 2 tablespoons of essential oil, our medium cotton wicks with the little silver bits on the end. We have our wick stickers. We will deal with these in just a moment. We have our jar for our lovely candle to end up in. And we have our 2 clothespins. All right, and now what you will need is you will need a spoon or chopstick or something that you don't mind getting wax on, because there will be wax on it. You are going to need a bowl that is large enough to melt everything in. You're going to need a heat source. Today I'm working with a kind of hodgepodge version of a double boiler, which is where you'd have hot water underneath and then a bowl on top that helps slowly melt everything together. Now you can also do this in the microwave, but you're going to want to make sure that you do it in small bursts of time. If you try to do all of the melting at once, it is actually going to scorch your wax, and we don't want that. So you're going to do it in small bursts of between 10 to 20 seconds, 20 seconds maximum, stirring thoroughly each time. In between, and then you put it back in the microwave, hit it for another 20 seconds. After it is completely melted, then you'll be fine. But today we're going to do this version. And that's everything. So let's get into it. All right. Step 1, my handy dandy instructions, is we're going to open up our wonderful jar. You have your ring lid and then you have your top. So you're just gonna pop that right off, and there's our wonderful jar. So pick up your wick with the wick tab attached and a wick sticker. You have 2 wicks, so you're gonna have 2 wick stickers. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel off. Ooh, yep, we'll peel it off from that way then. And we're gonna stick it right onto it like that so that it's stuck. Okay, so we're gonna do that with 1, and then we're gonna do that with 2 so that they're the same, because we'd want both wicks to be on our wick sticker. Don't worry about it, the wick stickers are specifically made for this. They will not get hurt by the wax. It will not cause any issue. You will be 100% fine. Okay, and then we're gonna take this second bit here. I don't know if you can see it because it's clear, but there's a little tabby. You're gonna take that and you're gonna peel that off. I'll give you the other sticky side. And because we're doing 2 wicks, we don't want them directly center. We want them close to center, but just a little bit off. So I will show you again with this one. Take off our clear, and then we will gently make sure that you don't put the other wick in it. Whoop, thank you. Gently lower it down. It's a little bit tricky, but then that is how I have both of mine stuck to the bottom. If you're concerned that they're not stuck enough, you can get a long stick like a chopstick. I'm using a paintbrush, and just poke around the silver part to make sure it's nice and solidly stuck to the bottom of the jar. Beautiful. All right, now let's melt some stuff. All right, so it's very simple, it's very straightforward, it's just gonna take a little bit of time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our beeswax and we're gonna pour it into our bowl. That should be plenty. So we're gonna pour our beeswax into our bowl, and we're also going to take our coconut oil and we're going to put that in there. I use a popsicle stick. I almost said tongue depressor. A popsicle stick to help get my coconut oil out of whatever container it's in. It helps to scrape along the sides and everything to make sure you get all of that wonderfulness out. Like I said, it has a very low melting point, so if it's a little bit more on the liquidy side, that is a-okay. We're gonna melt it anyway, so we're looking for a nice consistency. Okay, so then you're just kind of waiting, playing the waiting game and stirring your wax and your coconut oil together until you get a beautiful liquid. This is gonna take a minute or two, so I will see you in just a little bit when all this has melted together. All right, so now I know that time lapses are very important to videos, but I want you to understand that it took me the better part of about 20 to 30 minutes to melt all of my beeswax and coconut oil to the point where I can actually do what I need to do. So, yes, it is gonna look kind of like melted butter, and that's fantastic. We love a good melted butter look. But it is first going to go through quite a few stages. The first really big one is the mashed potato stage, where it seems like you keep heating it and it's just getting thicker instead of more liquidy. And that's okay. Then it goes through kind of a cottage cheese stage and then stays there for a while. But that's okay too, because it's a lot and you got to do it slowly, and you have to make sure that you pour it nicely and stir it nicely and everything else. And you're never going to get every little tiny bit of wax. There's always going to be residue and such. So don't worry if it's not perfect. It's still yours and it's fantastic. So once we have our nice beautiful hot butter stage of wax, we are going to add in our essential oils. And you're just going to pour it right in. And then you're going to take your stick and you're going to stir that in, and you're going to just kind of let it mix in and melt in at the same time, because it makes sure that everything that you scraped into the wax melts in with it as well, because you want this really nice homogeneous mixture if you can. If not, you know what? It's still your candle. It'll still burn. It'll be fantastic. So once we have that all mixed together and we've got a pretty good liquid, then we're going to take our jar with our wicks in it. I know it's been so long since we've done that. Well, it's been so long since I've done that. You guys are skipping through all the wait time. All right. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your wicks and you're just going to kind of bend them off to the side, because you don't want them getting in the way while you're pouring. This is hot, so be careful. If needs be, have an adult help you. And you can always use a funnel, and that will work perfectly fine. So you're just going to slowly pour it into your jar. Yes, there's going to be residue and there's going to be leftover wax on the side, and that's fine. Okay, and I'm gonna pop that back up there. And then we are going to take our clothespins. Yes, they had a real purpose. And we're gonna center up those wicks. Here, let me pull you down here for a second. We're gonna center up our wicks so that they're standing straight up. And then you're gonna take this little eye hole in your clothespin and you're gonna scoot it right through there and just rest it. You're gonna do the same thing on the other side. You're gonna scoot it through there and you're gonna rest it, and then you're gonna line them up so that they sit towards the center. All right, and then the most difficult part of this entire process, you're gonna put your candle somewhere where it is warm but not hot per se. Don't throw this in the fridge or the freezer. I know that in other past ones that we've had, if you wanted to cool down your stuff quickly, you absolutely could. In this one, do not do it. It will crack your candle, it will crack your wax, and you will have a bad time. So you're gonna put this someplace warm where it can cool down slowly and gently. And you're gonna let it alone for 2 whole days, okay? I know that seems unreasonable, as you literally can see it starting to solidify right now on the edges of my jar. You can see that white ring? That's the wax solidifying. But the center takes the most amount of time, and this is very, very hot. Like, I can touch it, it doesn't hurt, but it is like grabbing a mug of hot cocoa almost. All right, it's very warm against my hands, but not painful. So leave it alone in a nice warm place for 2 days minimum, okay? All right. And that's how to make your own beeswax candle. I hope we will see you again next month for making our own salt dough heart tags to give to your own special Valentine. All right, have a great night. Bye.